Peace Root folk. Sure. Friendly neighborhood urban shaman here, Montague. Just wanted to say a little word. Times have been really crazy, and I've been hearing people say all kinds of things. One thing I've been hearing is some folk are saying, if God really loves us, why is he allowing what's happening to happen? If there's angels that are looking out for us, why didn't they stop slavery to begin with? If there's these Orisha, these African gods of nature, why did they allow Africa to become what it is today? And allow black people to further be broken down and swallowed up by the system. Why? And I feel like the answer to that question is that God or spirit or all this stuff, it's not a genie. It's not a genie in a lamp. It's not a genie in a lamp that automatically corrects time and space to your needs and wants, our limited needs and wants, or at least our limited awareness of our needs and wants, and that's a powerful lesson because it empowers us as individuals to be the container. What do I mean by container? Well, look at it like this. If I want to pour a glass of water, then I should probably use a glass and not a fishnet. If I use fishnet material as my cup, as the base for my cup, then the water's going to fall out. No matter how much I pray, the water's going to fall out on the floor because I'm ignoring a very necessary, natural, practical element for myself to be able to contain water to begin with, so that's a container, container meaning something that holds something or something that holds energy, holds a function. You got to have the right pieces of things for things to work. So if I want to vacuum my floor, then I need all parts of my vacuum to be working and functioning at a high level. If I want to use a plastic spoon, but let's say the scooper part is removed, then I'm not going to be able to pick up much. There are rules on how to get things or maintain them on this plane. And let me get to my point. It's the same thing in the spiritual realm. Okay? So let's say you can't find a husband. Okay? Let's say you're having a hard time finding a husband or a boyfriend or something like that. And let's say, maybe I might ask, so where do you go? They might say, well, I go to work. I go work out. I just go to work and I come home. I binge watch the television and I go to sleep. And I'm like, you do that every single day? Yeah. Well, there you have it. But they're like, yeah, but I prayed to God. It doesn't matter. You didn't create anything for God to work with. God needs characters. God needs places. God needs, I call them characters, but he needs people. He needs tools, so join some sort of organization, whether it's a church or a mosque or, a workout club or, a sports team or a meditation group, something like that, because you're giving the Most High, you're giving the spirits, you're giving, your guides stuff to work with. You got to give your spirits tools. All spirits need tools. Okay? Cupid can't shoot his arrow and hit somebody to love you when you're not around anybody. You're not around people. You got to be around people to change their mind. So you haven't created the container, the right container for that story to exist. We got to have a container that holds a certain type of story, that holds a certain kind of outcome. Same thing with our hearts. If you have a cowardly heart, how can you be possessed by Shango or Ogun, these great courageous Oya, these great courageous gods of power and strength, Herakahudi, these warrior spirits, if you don't have a warrior spirit? Like attracts like. And so therefore you don't have a container for those spirits to move effectively in this space. You got to have a container for them. And containers come in the form of right action or right spirit, right systems, right habits. And it's the same thing with history and the bad things that happen. Okay? Because just as much as good spirits need tools, so do bad spirits. And unfortunately, this world and the humans in it have made pacts with some terrible beings. And they've set up the world in a way where it's easy for these spirits to use these tools in ways that are very effective for their destructive causes, for their destructive goals, you know what I mean? So if you want to ask why these certain gods didn't protect us, you got to understand that there was no system in place for them to work to their fullest capacity. They're not genies. Don't forget that you're God too. You are a God, and you are a vehicle for these gods. So why are you expecting a spirit to come correct all these things when you aren't unifying? Okay? When you are not unifying and able to get resources, when you're not unifying and strategizing on how to get those resources, when you're not asking the right questions, when your enemy understands you better than you know yourself, how are you really expecting for spirit to step in and help you when all the odds are stacked against you in very solid ways? No, we have to create an opening so that there can be that connection that allows for the flow of divine to come into our lives. Okay, so if black people, for example, don't trust each other, there's no container for a black nation. If black people won't love each other, there's no spiritual container to support a black nation. We got to get them something to work with, You know what I mean? If you don't have the patience to learn certain things, then those spirits can't use you. You're not an effective tool. You only can hold certain ashe, certain powers based off of what you can do and what you can do effectively. That's like a broken fork, or a broken anything, blaming the user. It's like my broken spoon saying, Montague doesn't exist because he hasn't been able to pick up 5 Fruit Loops. I don't know. That might be a bad example, but it's about how things work. And when you expect spirits to be genies, then that's where you're creating huge, problems, you know what I mean? So just analyze that. Are you expecting God to be a genie in your life, or are you gonna pick yourself up in a way where God can use you? Actually learn something. you know, learn something new, get a skill, change something, change your heart, change your mind, change what you do to create a container for what you want and how you want spirit to move in your life. Anyway, I'm Montague. Hope this was helpful. Peace.